I want to thank everybody for joining us on another edition of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, Rashid, and I'd like to thank my colleague and guest, esteemed guest, I should say, for joining us live from Canada, Professor Salim Mansur. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, sir. I'm very happy to be with you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Let's get right into it. We we see the global scene. It seems like it is just chaotic right now. When we look at Donald Trump and his administration, it shows the hallmark signs of a collapsing republic as well as a dying empire. Um, I see where they kidnapped a sitting head of state and refuses to return him back home. We see that they are now saying that they're turning the Western Hemisphere into America's backyard, and nobody has the right to come to America's backyard. But America has no problem in going into West Asia, Africa, and Eurasia, and all of this stuff. With that said, and they threatened Canada also when Canada said that they may not buy the F-35s. Trump said that, hey, we'll fly F-35s in Canadian airspace if we want to. What is going on, and do we see a rogue nation, rogue empire now on steroids and unhinged?
Yes, brother. The world is unhinged. It is unhinged because of America. Let's me be frank. I want to say to you, brother, and to your audience that I'm not an American, but I sit north of the 49 parallel. We are kissing cousin, you might say. um, so my view in this sense is not a view of an American, but of somebody from outside of America, non-American, who has watched, observed, studied America for more than 50 years, and have had tremendous respect and affection for America. That there is not the colored people, not Black Americans, but the majority population with money and access got themselves deferred. You know, they went to graduate school instead of, going in the draft to do their duty as a citizen. The Bill Clintons of this world. Of course, this president, excused himself. He wanted to be the president, the emperor of the greatest military power in the world. That is his boast. But so there was the oil economy and oil politics that was behind closed door. People were discussing, but the Arab-Israeli war brought the agenda very quickly forward. So the oil issue, the Vietnam issue, going off the gold standard, these were all converging. And the resolution of this was that the oil producers, particularly Saudi Arabia, and at that time Iran, they agreed to the proposition made by Kissinger and company that they will sell oil only on the basis of US dollar, and the oil price will be measured on US dollar. So that's the coming of the term petrodollar. So all the countries in the world, energy is the number one demand for every country, every people. They have to buy oil if they don't produce oil. I mean, country like economists.
I emphasize again, it is free to join my community.
This did not happen overnight.
No, it did not.
There was a process that was going on, and it is the collective weight of the American representatives in the House and the Senate, and then on the states, the 50 states of America. Technically, the states have power, again, based on the Constitution. So this imperial presidency that Donald Trump now symbolizes in effectively not only the Arab oil producing states, which was part of OPEC. At that time, the Shah of Iran was in power in Iran, and it was it is a major oil producing country, but the Shah was an ally of the United States. There was this negotiation, and the negotiation was One thing is that Kissinger and company from before the war,
And America goes around the world and talks about liberty and freedom and human rights when she comprises only 5% of the population of the planet Earth, yet she holds 25 to 30% of the prison population. And when we flip it back to the drugs, we know that there was a concerted effort by the CIA and all of these agencies to flood Black and inner city communities with drugs and with guns and stuff to suppress them. And all of this stuff is blowback from the policies that they initiated to try to suppress other people and overthrow other people. So what American centuries-long policy of suppression, war, exploitation, and arrogance. What would you say on that matter?
yeah, you have drawn a long history, and so that, no, it is right. I mean, all the various points that you have touched on is right. In its isolation, if you look at it, 1913, the making of the Federal Reserve, that you talked about. You might at the same time could have mentioned that Woodrow Wilson took America to war in 1917 when he had martyrdom at his highest, and so the commitment, the principle for which they stand.
Once again, you hit it out of the park. We have to get you back here. Shukram. Thank you for everything. And I'll send you the video in a few minutes. Be safe and be blessed.
Thank you. Salam. Peace.
Yes, walaikum salam. And ma salama. Everybody, I want to just say this before we go off there. I always say this: please do right by others, not because there's some material gain to be had by it or some accolades, but do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. As my late, great, and beautiful mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth. But know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that the true and living God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true. But above all things, remember to stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy still loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody, for joining me.